societies around the world expect men to be brave, to stand up and fight for their country, to defend their homes, their families, their land, to overcome obstacles to achieve success. So what we're looking for are qualities of perseverance, a man who can stand by his word, a guy who has ambition, a guy who refuses to give up on doing what's right. Those have been traditionally the tenets of manhood globally. And it's my contention that I will be outlining in this video that the number one problem that's causing the issues that we have around the world is cowardly men. And I think that cowards and the men who are cowardly are the greatest threat to the human race and to this planet. I know that's a strong statement, but you know how I am. I never make, I always have a strong position. But during this broadcast, I'm going to be giving you specific examples of behaviors that men do, attitudes that they project, and things that they say that back up my statement. I think that men's failure globally to man the hell up is what's behind the abuse, the fear, the neglect, the downward spiral of violence, the disrespect towards seniors and children and women, and the distance that we are experiencing between us as human beings, and the loneliness and despair and the rates of suicide. All of these things are because men are fucking cowards. We have cowardly government leaders. We have cowardly gangbangers. We have cowardly police that shoot everybody and claim that they're so scared. Our parents are too cowardly to admonish and discipline and raise their children, put boundaries and stuff around them. We have cowardly school leaders that let all these other people come in and tell them what to do with people's kids and their minds. We got cowardly punk ass CEOs in corporate America. We got cowardly punk ass husbands. It's just a bunch of cowardly punk ass men all over the place. They don't speak up when they know that they should. They don't stand up for what's right, and they don't check other men when they know that they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So to me, male ego combined with men's fears is something that that's what we're seeing. And when you combine a male ego with fear and men's lack of understanding, was their first go-to thing when they don't understand something is to fear it, and then when they are fearful of it, they want to destroy it. So that, I think, is what's happening worldwide, and why there's this quote war on women. Men don't understand women, and when they feel like they don't have the power over something, they want to try to minimize the fear that they feel from being powerless by destroying that thing, destroying that nation, that woman, that country, whatever. They want to destroy things. So I think, everybody feels fear. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a normal human thing that we have to feel. I mean, it's going to get us out of situations of great risk. Like in the ancient times when saber-toothed tigers was chasing after your ass, well, you would feel fear and then you would run or do whatever you need to do. But fear really isn't the issue anymore. What I'm talking about is what you do when you feel the fear. Okay, because you got to feel the fear, but then a coward runs, and a man of bravery and strength feels the fear, but he does what he knows he needs to do anyway. And that's what was missing. So I think if men today got their minds right, it would change the entire structure of every society on this planet. And the basis for this lacking and the destruction of what's going on, the destruction of the planet, destruction of relationships, destruction of the family unit as a whole, is all due to men's fears and this cowardice and their scary ass pink panty wearing butts. That's what I got to say, and I'll be back in a minute and we'll talk about it. This is Deb Cooper. What's up, everybody? I know this is a heavy topic for a Sunday, but it's something I've been thinking about, for a while. I tend to think about um, my topics before I decide to, put pen to paper and create an outline and research whatever it is I need to do. This show is based on observations that I've had um, for years, for just kind of watching the scariness of men, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing if you see that you're a woman and you have more balls than most of these dudes. They are so fucking scared of everything. They're scared of their own shadow. And it makes it very difficult as a woman to have any kind of respect for them as men when they're so needy and childish. So, I know a lot of women don't understand. I mean, if you've been in a situation where you were raised up with, like, no dad, or the dad that you had was a cowardly sort of dude, you won't really understand what I'm talking about because you have no point of reference of anything other than that, right? So, what I want to do in this video is go over some examples of the kind of behaviors that show when a man is a scary ass little bitch and when he is a guy. I mean, like I said in my intro, it's nothing wrong with feeling fear. We all feel it, and it's normal in many situations. That's what you're supposed to feel. The difference is how you handle the fear. If you fold up like a bad poker hand and just don't do anything, or you just, lay down and let the fear overwhelm you, well, then you go into the category. But we'll be talking about that in a minute. Everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Deborrah Cooper. I am the host and the producer of the Debsterism programs here on this channel on YouTube, simultaneously streaming on twitch.tv. Um, we get together on either Saturday or Sunday, and Tuesday and Thursday for live streams. I may put up, a video, a pre-recorded video at other times, but you can count on at least 2 to 3 live streams per week and on this channel, so please become a subscriber. Now, what I want to say first, because some people have a very bad habit of, hey, lady boss, glad that you're here. So you could kind of keep an eye out, watch out for. I anticipate we're going to have a bunch of men coming through here. It's not going to be too happy to hear what I have to say. I wish you had some help here. I don't know. I don't know if Van could make it, but we'll see. Um, I'll try to keep my eye out too. What I want to say first is I think it's very important for you guys to understand this is a common thing that happens on this channel. I don't know if it happens other places, but men will get defensive. Okay, instead of dealing head on with the things that I point out that are criticisms of their behavior, that I'm suggesting that they change. I'm not just attacking them for no reason. Excuse me. I'm pointing out to them how women perceive their behavior. So, but what they tend to do is become defensive and go into that girly position. Well, women do it too. Well, what about what women do? Okay, that's a bitch move. See, that's not very manly, and it's not sexy at all when you start trying to dodge accountability and responsibility. This is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. So that's, you guys, though, men are the ones who always want to talk about, well, we're leaders, we're kings, you need to submit to us, we're in charge, we're this, we're that. But if you can't have those kind of accolades if you are bitch made. It doesn't work. The two are in opposition to each other. So either you're gonna be a courageous dude who stands up and does what he knows is right all the time, or you're gonna be bitch made. But if you bitch made, then that means you like a woman and you don't get to get the titles of man and get all these accolades for manhood. You don't get that. Okay? You have to earn that as a man. And so many of you aren't. So let's talk about this. I'm going to talk about some of, yeah, they compare themselves to women. It's just so just, and then no, let's not even talk about the ones now that's trying to be women. They've given up on manhood altogether. Okay, I mean that's like the ultimate turnoff. So let me put some of the things. Let me set out some of the examples that means that men are responsible. When men fear women, the end result is disrespect, physical assault, and abuse because they want to control, they want to dominate. They're actually afraid of you leaving them, right? So, what they want to do is try to, belittle you and beat you into submission, into not leaving them. They feel that threatened. That's what's behind a lot of it. A lot of women don't understand that, but that's his fear talking. He's afraid you going to leave him for somebody else. He's like a fucking infant. And so, instead of crying to mommy, he wants to start wailing on you with his fists. Number two, because men fear women, they belittle them. Number three, because men fear women, you train them to accept control and to believe that they are here to serve men for male benefit and pleasure. By doing that, you pull out, like, religious texts and allegedly have God as your wingman to telling women that this is what they're, quote, supposed to do. A bunch of bullshit. Every time I see women who believe that, I just want to slap them back into reality. That is some man-made bullshit designed to control you. Everything men do is designed to control women in one shape, way, shape, or form, except for the men who are brave and courageous. They have no need to do that. They're trying to support you in being the best person that you are. But think about how few men that are, that are like that. Okay, I just want you to think about it as we go through the show. Number four, because men fear women, they seek to quiet their fears by shoring up their egos. Shoring up their egos means that they remind themselves that they are capable of destroying women. And how to do they do that? By threatening you, even online. They will threaten you with violence, sexual assault. I'll find you, I'll do this and that to do. And they're not going to bust a grape because they bullshit punk asses, but they feel good hide behind a name on the internet, some blind screen, but in reality, they bitch made. I mean, no real man's gonna sit up there and do some shit like that on the internet. Come on. And number five, because men fear women as well as other men, they are afraid of their inabilities and weaknesses and instead opt to oppress women, violate children, and oppress people in less developed nations. So, those are the 5 points, as I was thinking, very obvious, very, you can see it all over the place. You just turn your head and there's evidence of these five things going on. Every man behaves in this manner is bitch made, and he's weak, and he is a coward. Now, how many of them do you know that fit that? Yes, it does. That is what they provide. So, you think about wars, men jumping into wars because they want to take something that belongs to someone else. Why do you do that? You want to, beat on women, assault women. If a woman tries to, you want to kill her. You do this kids, they be taking people's kids, killing the kids. I mean, what is this? What is wrong with you all? That you think this is how you're supposed to be behaving as a man. No. And this is just the beginning, But I mean, talking about how they like kill animals for sport, and they want to gang bang like 18 dudes, roll up on one dude, all this kind of stuff. Bunch of cowards. If you was a real dude, you wouldn't need all this backup. But you a bitch made fool, and that's why you got to roll with a crew and all this kind of stuff because you too scared to do some shit by yourself one on one, where it would be fair and equitable, and it would be men mano y mano as they call it. Just sad. I mean, so I think also, well, today anyway, I'm going to be focusing on the role that men play in the destruction of relationships and families, because to talk about the global behavior would be too much. I mean, we'd be here for 2 or 3 days with a live stream that, you all watch me sleep on the camera. We're not going to do that. I'm going to narrow the scope and talk about how men are cowards and display cowardly behavior in partnerships with women, and in relation, even just platonic relationships with women. Okay, so we're gonna limit it to that, and why men run away like cowards from responsibility for their choices, their actions, their lack of action, and the words that they both say and should say to man up, but they don't. They don't do that. So that's how we're going to limit our focus today. So let me just start by defining what a coward is. I had a lot of different, things that kind of ran through my mind, so I just wrote them all down. For the purpose of this broadcast, a coward is a man who refuses to do the things that scare him. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. That's a sign of bravery. A coward is a man whose fear overwhelms every single emotion that he has. He's terrified of losing something or feeling like, he might die or something. And this is like in respect to like rejection. Okay, you're not going to die because someone rejects you, but they perceive that they will. And so to them, it's a great threat. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying physical where somebody's sitting there holding a gun to your face and you might die. I'm not talking about that kind of dying. I'm talking about a perception in their minds that they have magnified to have that kind of importance for self survival and protectiveness. It's not a bullet to the head, it's some woman assaulting their ego by rejecting them. Okay. Number two, he will live his life as a nothing and die without ever having made a positive mark on the world or even his own family. When he dies, it's like he never existed. A lot of these guys are the ones you see up in nursing homes by themselves. They lived a life of cowardice, never stepping out of a safe zone, never really putting themselves out for anybody or anything. And so they're just like an amoeba or something. They don't do anything. They don't stand for anything. They ain't about nothing. So they just exist, and then they die, and that's it. Okay, and the third one, a coward is a man who refuses to accept responsibility for his life. He blames his failings and his failure to achieve on other people. Typically, they blame women and they blame feminism. Those are the favorite scapegoats for why they aren't achieving, why they don't have a wife, why they don't have a girlfriend, why they don't get no attention from women, why they don't have sex, why they don't have a wife, girlfriend. I mean, they blame that and women's roles instead of looking within and saying, well, how do I need to change myself so that a woman will be attracted to me? Oh, no, they're not going to ever do that. It's going to be someone else's fault that they don't have what they feel like they deserve, they should have because of their little twisted egos. And well, I got a couple more. A coward is a man who victimizes those smaller and weaker than he is. So there's no fair fight there, whether it's through verbal tactics or physical strength, physical advantages because men are stronger than women, or a power dynamic because that's important too, like in work situations. Uh, yeah, that kind of stuff. He's going to attack those who are smaller and weaker and more vulnerable solely because he knows he can win against them with no real challenge. He's a bitch. Okay, how you gonna do that and call yourself a man? You go after the weakest, smallest, most vulnerable thing and attack it and hurt it, and then you want to crow about it? You pink panty wearing little bitch. Oh my God, these dudes are so just ugh. It just makes me want to pull all my skin off. How the fuck you gonna call yourself a man and that's what you choose to do with yourself? You're supposed to be a defender of those people. Oh, it's just trifling. So to sum things up, a coward is a man who allows his fears to deter him from what he is supposed to be doing, which is the right thing. We all know the right thing to do. We've known that, like that book says, since kindergarten, if not before. But what happens is people choose not to do the right thing because it's too hard. It's a challenge. So you allow your fear to dictate your actions or, as I pointed out, your lack of actions. Oh, yeah, I'll be talking about that in a minute, Ash. Well, in a few minutes. So let's talk about some of these cowardly behaviors and attitudes that are exhibited. These are some of the ways that men are cowards and how their cowardice plays out in life and in relationships that impact women and children. Like I said a little bit ago, this is going to be the focus. I'm not going to be talking about, I mentioned the governmental punks and the parental punks, but I might do that on another show because I firmly believe parents these days are just some weak, bitch made punk asses, mamas too, and y'all are not doing what you need to be doing to make sure your children grow up to be whole, sane, productive citizens. That's another show, though. Today, we're going to be talking about how male behavior impacts women and children in families and romantic relationships. That's it. I'm going to limit it to that. Now, I divided this between, general cowardly behaviors behaviors that they exhibit with women, like in relationships. And what is this? Oh, this shouldn't be in here. So that you get like an idea of the different ways. Like if you're in a platonic relationship, that's going to fall more under the general, or it's a male relative, a co-worker, or something like that. Whereas the relationship part talks about boyfriends, husbands, and people that you're romantically involved with. So, in under the general category, they pretend to be more than what they are. They have fanciful tales of their masculine prowess, which are most likely stories that they heard from other dudes at a barbershop or around in the neighborhood. In teenage boys, these starts early. They start talking about all the women that they got or some girl that they claim that they did something with, smearing this poor girl. I mean, so she's losing all kind of like points with her, you know, she's losing points. People are going to start calling her names and treating her poorly, thinking that she's a slut, a hoe, all this stuff, when she's not. She hasn't done anything. He's sacrificing her reputation to build up his ego. Why? Because he's a fucking coward. He's too scared to tell the other dudes, well, I haven't done anything with the girl yet. I really like her. I respect her. I'm not trying to, be like that with her. I'm taking my time. You a punk. You just, I mean, it starts early, like I said. So any parents, you hear your sons going to say saying shit like that, or you a young man, you hear some of your friends saying shit like that, and you know it's not true. Call him on that shit. Don't let him get away with that. Call his ass out and say, man, stop fucking lying. You know that's not true. Why you trying to do that to that girl just so you could try to look good, motherfucker? What's wrong with you? But see, you guys don't do that. Why? Because you're scared. Why? Because you want the other dudes to think that you're like them. You want to fit into the group. You don't want to stand out. You don't want to be different. You don't want people to see you as a leader, so you just become one of the crowd. Bullshit ass men. In reality, these dudes, they talking all this stuff about, well, yeah, I did this and that, and I used to roll with this, and I shot this person. They didn't do shit. They didn't bust a grape. They let people walk all over them. But these are the types too that you'll see like online. Like, okay, they get into it with a woman. This is a perfect example. They get into it with a woman, right? Primarily me. They're too weak to handle me by themselves. They can't handle it. They don't have my vocabulary. They can't type as fast as me, and they don't think like as well as I do. They don't have the intellect that I have. They're no match for me. They're mental midgets. So what they tend to do, because they see they're losing, rather than say, okay, you got me, let me just leave you alone, that would be the thing to handle it if you were a man of courage. But that's not what they do. What they do is say, they roll out and they tag all their friends, right? And they try to get a posse together. So, three or four clowns to try to get on one woman. Don't you think I call them on that shit? You're weak. All y'all is bitch made. What kind of man is gonna roll up to his boy's defense against a woman online? All y'all are bitches. Just bitch made. I mean, who does that? And then you want to call yourself a man? You're not. Okay, you supposed to tell your boy, man, you can't handle her, then you just a punk. Don't call me. I'm not there for that. That's not my role in your life. Still handle your own shit like a G. But you don't do that. You cover for each other and, panty wear together. It's just so sick and stupid. And then they're the king of online neediness. That's what I call it. Oh my God. Online need. You let some woman make a post like, parading of talking something positive about men. Here they are, thousands of them. Oh, thank you, Queen. Oh, it's so nice to hear someone say something positive about us. People just don't say anything nice about us because they know you ain't doing shit. What they have to say something nice about you for? You're just basic and dumb. You ain't doing nothing spectacular, so you don't need any kind of accolades and acknowledgement for being basic. Do something grand and wonderful, then somebody might want to give you some kudos. But you just getting up, going to work, and coming. I mean that's good, but that's just basic. That's nothing. I mean, men all around the world do that. Do they need accolades online to acknowledge the basic bullshit? Only the weakest of men do that and are that fucking emotionally needy that they look for some kind of validation online. You're a fucking coward. Stand up for yourself and do something for yourself as a man. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Just such attention seekers. Oh, and ladies, if you do online dating, these are the type of dudes that, you exchange with them, right? You be involved with them all this time, and you try to get together to meet him. Oh, that'll never going to happen. You know why? Because he's going to be exposed to be the little bitch that he is. He's got this persona that he can present online and pretend like, he's all this stuff and he really wants to meet you and all this old stuff. And it's either he's married and he just, perpetrating, or he's single and he's perpetrating, because who he presented himself to be in both cases is not who he really is. And why is he afraid to show you who he really is? Because he's a fucking coward. They pretend to manipulate and control and get the upper hand and lie because that's what cowards do. They don't have the strength and the spine to be real and to be vulnerable. and expose who and what they really are. They just can't do that. Or like I said earlier, he's got this false bravado, right? He gonna get all in somebody's face and be doing that. But see, the time if you was gonna really be about a man, the time to do something, to resolve the conflict is when the conflict is happening. Okay, you discuss it like adults. Like men, you don't go roll out and get on the phone in your car and call your boys to come and back you up, and then 4 or 5 of you motherfuckers gonna roll up on one dude and stomp him and beat him or else shoot him and kill him. Somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's son because you mad. You're a fucking coward. That's all I can say. I don't know. Broke is, it doesn't matter. All I said is he presents himself to be something he's not. Okay, that's a wide umbrella. You put whatever you want to under that umbrella, but like I said, he's presenting himself as something he's not. He doesn't want it to be exposed because he's a coward. He doesn't want to risk being vulnerable and exposed for who and what he really is. Now, y'all want to put like 19 different things under it. Um, Feel free, but I'm not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna say he just presented himself to be something he wasn't. Okay. Another name for these type of guys that's real common is a fuck boy. They just are major fuck ups and nobody want to be bothered about them. Another thing that cowardly men project is that they're always very worried about what other people think about them. Okay, perfect example. Under the video I have on here, white men and black women. Okay, a lot of the guys came through talking about how they are attracted to black women. They love black women. They just, would want to be with one or stuff, but they're scared because of what other people might say. Okay, you're a fucking coward. What usually happens though is after they go through that and they get to middle age, then they fuck all that appeasing other people. Then they finally go for the woman that they really wanted in the first place, so that at least they die happy. But it's like have some courage when you're young. Why you gonna waste 20 or 30 years of your life being with some woman you don't really want to be with just to please your parents? They have a marriage and they're pleased in theirs. You need to be pleased in yours. Okay, have some fucking courage, you dudes. You know what I mean? This is just ridiculous. I just see this. It just makes me want to my skin crawl with all the cowardice that men project. They're scared of every fucking thing, and it's like, how in the world do you expect a woman to want to be with you as her protector and a leader of her household and family when you fucking scared of your own shadow? Why are you scared about some words that somebody would say? Who gives a fuck? They're not paying you. You know what I mean? And even if they are, you just tell them, well, that don't have shit to do with my job. What I do with my dick and my personal time, you need to keep your nose out of my business. That's what a real man would do. But now you're a coward and fear, like, you need all this approval from somebody. Just weak. It just, ugh. So everything that a coward does, everything a coward says is about fitting in with the group. It's about getting their approval and meeting the standard of behavior that the other people establish. So he's going to run away from confrontation. He's going to run away from a situation even where the people that he's involved with are doing something seriously wrong or they have seriously wronged him. He's too scared to stand up for himself, so you can forget him standing up for you or your kids. It's not going to happen. These are the types who allow their family or friends to say nasty things about their wife or girlfriend, and then they just, they don't say nothing. They don't check them. Or they cry that they in the middle, and what do you expect me to do? Or they say, it's just easier to avoid taking any action in their life or their relationships. So they end up bored and stagnant. The woman's bored, the relationship's stagnant because nothing is happening. There's no movement. Now, the worst situation I heard about this was a group of young men, 18, 19, 20 or something. One of the kids had grown up with this girl, right? Since diapers, they were like this. Their families were like this. He's with this crew of knuckleheads. The knuckleheads see the little girl, and she's waving to her little male friend, and so he's with three knuckleheads, and it's him, right? So it's four of them total. They take this little girl and they, start sexually assaulting her, and she's like looking to her friend to stop it, to say something, to call 911, to do something to save her. This little motherfucker says, "Oh well, these are my boys. So I'm just gonna join in with them," and so he rapes her too. So all four of them went to jail. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. As a parent, you have to teach your son to have some fucking spine. Because this kind of thing, like that situation, if that was my son, I would still be kicking his ass because you know the right thing to do and you didn't do it. You sat there and went along with the fools doing what they wanted you to do because the approval of some knuckleheads was more important to you than the approval and the of your and respect of your family, and with doing what you knew was the right thing to do. You were raised up with this little girl like a sister, and that's how you did her because of you wanted to fit in with some knuckleheads. So see, that's what I'm saying. You guys, this kind of thing is really, it permeates society. Men are not men anymore. I don't know what the fuck they are. They're just like followers and just like, little like ass kissers. And they don't want to make a decision to put them outside the box. That is how this trans agenda got so much power and steam. Women were intimidated and so were men. Men were feeling like, well, it doesn't really affect us. The fuck it doesn't, because you're going to be single out here trying to date somebody, then you're going to find out that it really was a man, and then you're going to be tripping. And until enough of that happens to you, you need to align yourself with women and fight this shit. That's what you need to do, but you're fucking cowards, and so you don't. You pass laws that let them come and intimidate and do stuff that's wrong with women and infringe on women's rights and stuff. And you're supposed to be standing up for women and protecting them. That's what you're supposed to be doing, but you're not doing it. So it's just like this is just fucking. So like I said, this has been in my mind. I've been thinking about this for over a year, like off and on, just observing, just making note of things. And today is the day that I discuss it. So another thing that cowards do is they pretend like they don't know what's actually going on, right? They pretend like they don't understand. A lot of women get caught up in this because y'all think, well, he doesn't understand. The fuck he doesn't. He understands everything. He understands. He just don't want to deal with it. So the way to not have to deal with it is pretend like he doesn't know what you're talking about and that he doesn't understand that this is a problem. And you guys aren't slick enough to understand that that's what he's doing. That's why I'm pulling your coats right now. Don't ever let a man get away with talking about he don't understand. That motherfucker understands very well. They aren't stupid. Yeah, they dusties. They just beyond dusty though. I don't know what they are. This muddy. Like, I don't even know what to call it. And they don't move on, nor do they try to overcome the pain or trauma that they've experienced. They hang on to it like a life raft. These are the dudes, they're cowards, and they use past hurts as an excuse, right, for why they can't move on to a new relationship, a new love, a new anything. That's what the first thing well, I was hurt. I was hurt. And so, okay, but you know what? That girl that hurt you was when you were 17, and now your ass is 52. Why are you still talking about that? But that's what they do. And that's because they're a coward. They're too afraid to feel that pain again. But it's like you living in this sheltered position. You're not going to feel the love of anybody because you built this wall up and you hide behind it like a fucking coward. Now, another thing that they do is escapist behaviors. When people are cowards, they escape. Every drug addict is a coward. Every drunk is a coward. Every addict to anything where they use it to escape reality and dealing with the issues at hand is a fucking coward. That's why they're addicts. And that's why they have such a hard time letting go. People say, well, it's their mental state. No, it's not. That's not it. Now, I mean, heroin or something, yeah, you have a physical response to that. That's a little bit different. But what drove you to pick that up in the first place? Because something was bothering you and you was a fucking coward and you didn't want to deal with it. So you felt like, well, if I get high, I'll feel good. That's the same reason a lot of women go to church because they want to feel good. Fuck the fact that this is just a numbing thing. It's not helping you. It's taking your money. It's refocusing energy that you need to be focused on yourself and your children and betterment of your life as a black woman. Instead, you've given your money to these preachers because they make you feel good. Church is another escapist behavior. People want to feel good. That's why they go. So you see what I'm saying? It's like this nonsense permeates our society. People are just cowards just all over the place. It's just kind of disgusting. Remember that always used to say this in the thing, men take the path of least resistance. They always choose the easy way out. I've been saying that for years, and it's true. And they always want to play it safe, you know. And they believe that they're gonna make, if they make a mistake, that it's like the end of something. But I remember there's a quote by Michael Jordan. I don't remember it exactly word for word, but I remember he talking about how many baskets he missed, like 3,000 or something, and how many times he was trusted to make the game winning shot and he missed, and how many times he was supposed to, do whatever, and then he fell through. But he didn't give up, and he kept going, and that's why he became Michael Jordan the Great. So he didn't let his mistakes stop him. He kept going. That's how he became a world class champion, because he didn't fold up and become a coward at the first sign of failure, like so many of these dudes that y'all dating and married to do. Wasting your time with these clowns. Just losers. So, it's like cowards also are the ones who always want to go by the book. Okay, they cling to rules and regulations and policies and quote, the way it's been done, end quote. They are too scared to take a risk and try anything new or different, because you got to think about it. The people who become great are the ones who take a risk and risk, a change. And even if they fail, they say, well, okay, well, I found a way that it won't work, so let me keep going until I find one that do. That's their attitude, very positive and about winning in the end, no matter how long it takes. Cowards give up. First sign of something not going right, they just give up. Where do they go? Into incel and MGTOW groups. That's where they go. Soon as they fail with a woman, they run there. These bitches, feminism, they're just not like they used to be. They don't want us. We're just rejected, and we deserve this. Punk asses. Stop hiding. Get out there and do it. Do what you need to do. Make the magic happen like a G. But now y'all fold up and you get in these groups and you cry and twist around and whine and flip flop on the floor like a toddler on these groups where you feel sorry for each other instead of manning the fuck up. Let me go in one of these groups and tell them all you just little bitches. Get out of here. Go out into the world and make something of yourself and go do something to get your woman that you claim you want. Get offline and stop commiserating with other losers. You spread loser energy. And it's making you more of a coward because you feel like you have support in your cowardice. It's just, oof. As you can see, this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I'm just like, okay, it's time to purge this from my spirit because I can't take it anymore. Now, let's talk about how they deal with women. Those were the general behaviors, okay? Now we're going to specifically address the cowardly behaviors that men show in interactions with women. They're terrified of rejection, okay? That's just, nobody ever died from being rejected, and it's like it's still interesting to me how they can take rejection from, like, they apply for a job, they get rejected, they don't feel like they're going to die for that. They apply for a credit card, they get rejected, they don't apply for apartment, a car loan, whatever, they get rejected for those things. And they, you call for a reservation, you get rejected for that because the restaurant's full. I mean, just we face rejection all the time, every day in life. But for some reason in their minds, if a woman rejects them, it's like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And they just get all kind of anger and angst and vicious attitudes about it, when it's like she's a human being like you and maybe you ain't her cup of tea. I mean, she's, just like she might be a vegan and not want a hamburger. Okay, maybe she sees you as a hamburger and she's not wanting that. She wants a black bean burger and you ain't black bean. So I mean, I don't understand why they put so much emotion into rejection, but they do. And when they can't handle the rejection, they want to strike out. They want to hurt the woman. They want to kill the woman. They want to pummel on the woman. They want to stalk the woman, threaten the woman, terrify the woman because they feel like they deserve her and she better give them what they want. Little punk asses. So you're gonna be sorry. The more women gonna be strapping up, you're gonna come up there with that action. Your ass gonna end up pushing up some daisies. Women are not taking that shit anymore. Y'all need to be careful with that. If you get rejected, G up. Okay, go to the next bitch. There's 50 million bazillion women out here. Okay, you don't have to act like that about one. Jesus Christ. These are the dudes, their fears are going to be like say they go to a party. I used to watch them at this club in Oakland called Jeffrey's Inner Circle, right? And you could see the dudes, they would come in and they hug up on the wall, or they lean up on the bar or something, and they just start watching the women. Now the players would watch that because they trying to figure out which one they gonna approach, and when they see her, they make a beeline for her. Oh, but the rest of the dudes just sit there, in groups of two or three, just cowering in fear, talking and laughing amongst themselves. And then an interesting thing would start to happen, because I'm one, I like to sit at the bar, because to me that's where the action is, around the bartender. So I sit at the bar by myself. I go to clubs by myself. I do all kind of stuff by myself because I want to know what's going on. I want to hear stuff. And so what happens is, like, these guys, like, say one of them look at a girl and he likes her, right? He's like, he want to talk to her, but he's scared. He's scared. So instead of admitting that, ooh, man, she's so bad, I'm kind of scared. I mean, what if she shoots me down? Shit, man, I might melt in a puddle on the floor. I mean, you can make jokes about your cowardice. You don't have to take it so seriously, and your friends would laugh, and y'all would share your coward stories, and it'd be all good. But instead, what they do is they start to attack and belittle a woman that they don't know, have never talked to, don't know her name, ain't never even seen the woman before, but suddenly she becomes a bitch, a hoe, a gold digger. She probably a player anyway. I mean, they say all these negative, nasty things about her. Why? Because they're afraid to approach her. So in order to make themselves feel better and to help their ego not be so in pain, about possible rejection that they haven't even experienced yet. Now, keep that in mind. This is all in there, taking place in their imagination. So, because of that, they go and they want to turn this woman into some kind of monster, when she might be a perfectly nice woman, and maybe she was looking at him too, but she's waiting for him to get, to grow a pair and approach her. Because not every woman wants to do the work of a man. She's waiting for you to do it. Okay, and so you don't do it. Instead, you sit there and make all kind of negative accusations about the chick, to where suddenly finally she becomes just like this awful person in your mind, and then you leave the party, you leave the networking event, you leave the club alone again and mad because nobody, talked to you, but you didn't really put any forth any effort. You hugged up on the bar with your buddies. That's kind of interesting. Um, Typically, um, these men tend to avoid strong women. Women who are secure, who have high self-esteem. They avoid women like that, and they avoid them because of his inferiority complex. Now, remember the other day I was talking about the hotess games, and a lot of you was mad that I was talking about that, saying, well, he has no right to hotess me, and blah blah blah. And I was trying to get you to understand, no, you never lose when it's a hotess, because you get to see who and what he is, and he gets to see you too. And in many instances, the women are taking it personally because the guy walks away, or he doesn't want to call him anymore and stuff. What you don't realize is you may have failed his test, but it was a good fail. It was a fail in that he questioned who you were as a woman, and he realized you got your shit so together. You ain't about the bullshit. You need a brother to come correct and with his shit straight and his mind right, and he knows that's not him, and he knows he ain't trying to be that kind of man, so he's not gonna mess with you because you are too out of his league. And his whole test revealed that you're not what he wants, what he's looking for, somebody weak and easy to manipulate. You're not that woman, so he leaves you alone. So you guys don't understand that the whole test works in your favor in every instance. Either you're not going to waste time with him, or unfortunately you're going to get screened in to be what he's looking for, and then he's going to end up to using you. But that's why I let you know what the tests are, so you can prepare yourself and know, if you see the test coming, what to do about them. So it would always work in your favor now that you have the knowledge about why they do it and what some of the whole tests are, right? So I didn't see any negative about it at all, but people was just so up in their feelings. It was kind of amazing. But so anyway, they know they can't handle it, so they run away from you. He prefers weak-minded women, and what these guys will typically do is they look for very young women. So this is why you see these dudes in their 40s and 50s trying to date, women 20 years old, 22, and all this kind of stuff. They want somebody who's easy to manipulate, someone who's rather naive and inexperienced, because she's not going to be a challenge to him. He's going to be able to control her and dominate her. And typically they come in, trying to offer her solutions to her problems, money. They offer marriage, maybe if she's looking for a husband. They help her with her rent. They help her with her kids. I mean, he comes in like the fairy godfather, right? And so she gets, feels obligated to and indebted to him in some respect. And so then that's how they get you. They don't want a woman who's on equal footing with them. They can't handle a woman who's on their level, age wise, socially, and economically. They can't do it. Some of them will settle for a woman that they don't even really want, right? So this is a lot of women get caught up in this. They don't really want you. They're there for what I call a relationship of convenience, what you do for them, how you make them feel, the services that you provide, while he gets to sit on his ass and not really give you any kind of relationship. And you keep hoping and wishing and scrambling around, thinking if I just do enough, if I love him enough, if I am submissive enough, if I cook enough, if I clean enough, if I be freak of the week enough, he's gonna love me. He's never gonna love you because he's too scared to love you. Loving someone means being vulnerable to them. These are guys who are cowards, so they're going to always be hiding their emotions, if they even have any. You'll never know. He gonna give you just enough lip service to make you stay there to keep trying, but you're never gonna get anything out of him that you want because he's too fucking scared to do it. Y'all need to recognize that and stop wasting your time. He don't really want you. He's not gonna reciprocate anything. These guys will also tend to make promises that they don't keep. Why? Because prom making, it's lip service. It's easy. I told you they take the easiest route, the least resist path, the least resistant. So you say, I need this, I need that. Okay, fine. But then you wait for him to deliver, and of course he never does. Why? Because he's gonna have excuses. These are the most excuse making motherfuckers on the planet. They always have an excuse for something, and the excuses will come. Like if you get bust, you bust them for one excuse, they're gonna have excuses to make up excuses for the excuse that they gave you before that didn't work. So you always try to feel like you need to just forgive him or overlook something, all this and that, because he's a punk ass. He can't just say, yes, I fucked up. I did it on purpose because I don't respect you. I don't really want to be with you, but I'm just here because cook and clean and fuck me, and I don't really have to do nothing to get all that. He's never gonna say that because he's a fucking coward. But that's the reality, and you ladies need to understand that. Typically, what they start to do, though, when they want to communicate that they don't want to be with you anymore, is take the coward's way out. They want you to break up. So they will start to disrespect you, call you names, want to start fights with you, stop coming home, catch them with other women, all kind of stuff. Like they spending their money, they taking stuff out the house, your stuff. There's a long list, laundry list of these negative behaviors. They forget your birthday, they flake on calling you, they stand you up for dates. All these kinds of behaviors are demonstrating to you that whatever lie he told you about being wanting to be with you, he's tired of keeping the lie alive and now he's ready to go. But you guys want to keep hanging on, trying to get back what you thought you had, but it was never there because he was a coward. He was never going to give you them kind of feelings. He was just playing a game. So you have to learn to recognize when this kind of stuff is happening to you, that you let him go. Let that go. Don't chase him. Don't beg him. Don't do anything. Just let that go. Okay? These are the kind of dudes who will ghost you. Now, if somebody ghosts you after messing around with you for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, okay, that's not really, a relationship. But you're dealing with somebody for 3, 4, 6 months, well, that's a kind of a different thing. But they'll still ghost you because they don't want to deal with your emotional response. I outlined that in the video on ghosting. I went into great detail. So if you want to see that, I'll try to remember to link it up here so you can just click it. Now, let's move on and talk about how they do when they're actually in a relationship. Okay, this is my last segment. When they're actually in a relationship. Now, some of those things I told you, that's when the early dating, they're trying to get to know you. You're not really in a committed situation. In a relationship here, it's talking about you already a quote boyfriend, girlfriend, or you're married to the man maybe. You're living with the man, something like that. The number one thing that they going to do, what that cowards do is lie. They lie. Oh my God, they lie for no reason. They just lie because the sun is shining. That's just it. Because it's like they will tell you anything to appease you. They don't want to deal with any emotional upheaval. You cussing them out, you throwing something at them, you tell them to get the fuck out. Nothing. They don't want to deal with anything negative. Even your cold shoulder at night in the bed. They don't want to do it. So they will lie to you in order to try to prevent that and keep things that's in a way, and to keep things that's comfortable for them. They want everything to stay comfortable for them. And so you're living this false reality created based on their lies. Um, they will tend to like you ask them a question, like okay, they respond to a question with a question. Typically, it might go something like this: "Oh, I was calling you today. How come you didn't answer? What do you mean you was calling me?" Well, I thought it was gonna go out. Well, when did I say that? Well, I thought we was going to the movies. Well, I don't remember a conversation talking about the movies. When did that happen? Game. And all of that is designed because they don't want to just, man up and say, well, yeah, I know I said that, but I changed my mind and I don't fucking feel like it now. We'll go later. How hard was that? Yes, she's going to be disappointed, but guess what? She's a big girl. She'll get over it. You got to stop being a punk ass and just tell your woman the truth. Be honest for once in your damn miserable life. When you confront him about the lies that he tells, they will tend to get defensive and they'll try to flip things around so that it becomes your fault. The reason why is so he won't have to take responsibility. Typically, this happens in domestic violence situations, right? He, pounds on you. And so, then he apologizes and then he says something like, well, you shouldn't have made me so mad. You made me jealous. You made me something. What is you, a fucking marionette? How you a man that some woman can make you do anything? You a bitch. That's what you are. A bitch with a dick. That's all you are. And so, you ladies sit up there and you fall for that shit. You don't fall for that. He did something, then that's his red wagon. That's what he did. I'm like, these dudes are just ugh. Or you talking right and you jamming him up about something. So then he go like he's just too he don't want to take responsibility. So here, well, what about what you did? I remember when you did the same thing, or you did such and such. Okay, you know what? And you all will very often, just like you do in these chat streams, allow yourself to be derailed and start talking about what he's trying to talk about. No, 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 no. No. What you're supposed to do is bring him back, say, okay, that might be fine, and that did happen in the past, but right now we're talking about your black ass, or your white ass, or your Chinese ass, whatever it is. We're talking about you right now and what you did. So stick to the subject. We ain't talking about that or me. We're talking about you. And bring his ass right back. Don't let him get away with that. Just ridiculous. Um, yeah, they make up a whole bunch of excuses for why they did what they did, but they just never just, say, yes, I did that. I made a mistake. Yes, I should have thought about that more. That was dumb. I'm sorry, baby. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, be a man. Come on. Jesus. Unbelievable. Okay, and they'll be a crybaby too. They want to guilt trip you for jamming them up, cry tears of wine and throw stuff, pout, not talk to you, pout around the house and not talk to you, or tell the kids, tell your mother, blah, 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 blah. Playing them little silly, little juvenile ass games instead of manning up and talking to your woman like a G. What's wrong with you? I swear, this little passive aggressive bullshit, it's just like unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. I don't know. And so many women put up with it. I'm just in awe. Y'all have some patience that I don't even have, like in the root of one hair. I don't have that much patience. I just don't. I just can't. I would just be cussing the motherfucker. I would just have to get rid of them. Play that game if you want to. This shit here that you thought we had, this shit is over. I'm not dealing with this. These are the guys who are fearful of showing vulnerability. Okay, they're afraid of falling in love. They're afraid of their own damn shadow, practically. They have stories about how they've been hurt before, right? And how come that's why you might not get the relationship out of them that you think you're gonna get, and how they was cheated on and now they can't trust women, or how their friends got divorced, and what if that happens to me too? These are the ones they cower in fear about that too. Well, I don't see why I should get married or love anybody because then I'll just get divorced and she'll take my money and she'll take my kids, they say. Okay, motherfucker, you don't even have a girlfriend. So how'd you get from this to divorce? How how do you do that? That's like so not your reality. And it's like you are not that friend of yours who fucked up his relationship. So you don't know what happens to behind closed doors. He gonna give you an edited version because he doesn't want to take responsibility for what he did because he's a bitch. And so he gonna come to you crying like a fucking crybaby and trying to make you believe it's all her fault. And like a dummy, you believe it. Don't you know no woman gets married wanting to get a divorce and lose the father of her children, her husband? If she wants a divorce, he did some real foul shit to her. That's what you need to understand. You guys just don't get it. And they want to feel like they can't love somebody because she might leave. Well, if you act right and treat her well, she won't. She will love you until the day they throw dirt on both of your faces. Okay, because that's how women love. But you guys fuck it up. You fuck it all up. You be shallow and stupid and controlling and abusive, and then you think a woman's going to want to stay with you. She falls out of love with you when you treat her like that. And that's why you get a divorce, because you don't act right. Or they want to be in, you don't want to label your relationship right. You got this woman and she's like, she gonna write to me and talk about, oh, well, we do everything that a husband and wife do, but I don't have that title. Well, I'm like, okay, well, then you need to leave him because he's not trying to give you that title, because otherwise he would have done that first. When a dude wants to claim you, he's going to do that first. So you not, in that situation, you're not in that space. He want to call you their friend and stuff, introduce you as his friend, but you screwing him. And, he want all the affection and somebody listen to his problems and taking care of his needs, but he doesn't want to give you the security that you need. Then you're supposed to bounce. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't let him use you like that. You don't let him pull these little cowardly games on you like that. If you need a man to step up and be the man for you, then you have to demand that. And if he doesn't do it, then you leave him alone because he's a coward. He's not the one. You're going to have a miserable life. You're going to end up in divorce court. That's what so many women do. You try to make excuses and think he's going to change after you get married and all this kind of stuff. It's not going to happen. He is what he is. A punk ass. All right, let's see. What else do I have on here? Okay, and if he does promote you to the girlfriend or the fiance status, that's when you will get a whole new barrage of bullshit. They're going to unleash all their fears, all their insecurities, and the baggage from past relationships. What we experienced here on What the Fuck Tuesdays some months ago were a rash of letters that came in from young women who were either married to or engaged to men who waited until they, quote, got the girl, like she pregnant or whatever, to reveal that they had a history of having relationships with men. Okay, now these women are traumatized. They're like, that's not the kind of man that I wanted. So his cowardly, instead of revealing who and what he really was, he manipulated and coerced her into being with him and, loving him and stuff under false pretenses because he was too afraid to show who and what he really is when he knows that she wouldn't have chose him for a husband knowing that, or high likelihood. I mean, some women don't mind, but he didn't, care enough to give her that choice. He manipulated her into some shit because of his own fears. And so that's not fair. So the women, they're going to end up leaving them because that's not what they want. And then the guys will be like, well, all women do is leave you. Well, they leave because you lie about who you are. She wants a heterosexual man and your ass be jumping the fence every time she flips around. You don't know what you want. Do I have dick tonight? Do I have pussy tonight? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I like them both. Who you think want to be married to somebody like that? Come on the fuck on. I don't know. I don't even understand why you would even think that that would be something that you need to do to a woman who wants a children and a family. She wants a regular man, not one who can't decide what side of the fence, what team he's batting for. Y'all be tripping. Now, yeah, so okay, so then they're gonna tell you all the stuff. They're gonna tell you about the kids that you didn't know he had. He lied. He said he had one. Well, you found the motherfucker got four and a couple of extra baby mamas somewhere. He didn't reveal. Or he has a wife that he didn't tell you about. So now here you are all in love with the motherfucker. You find out he's married, and she maybe even lives in another state or whatever. I mean, another city, but he's still married. I mean, so that means he can't marry you. So whatever he lies he was talking about, he's not gonna be able to give you that. Or he has an arrest or a prison record that he didn't tell you about. Or he has drug abuse or homelessness or bad credit that he didn't tell you about. He want to move in and all this stuff, claiming his mad love so he can get his ass out that halfway house. Or he has past marriages that he didn't tell you that he had. So you thinking you're gonna be his first wife and you like wife number three. So he got baggage from all those relationships that he didn't tell you about. So you see what I mean? This is like these are the kind of things that it takes courage for a man to put on the table. By the time you get serious enough with a woman that you're talking about, marrying her, moving in together, and all this kind of stuff, you have to let her know who you really are. Who are you? And you pretend to be something that you're not, and you get your trick, and then of course she's gonna leave you because she feels deceived, disrespected, manipulated, and controlled. No, that's not an environment conducive to love and respect, dudes. It's just not. Um, so then you all in love, but now you reeling from the impact of these truths that he's finally, commenced to telling you. But then you wonder why he didn't tell you before, because he's a fucking coward. He didn't want to deal with the fact that you wouldn't want to be with him, once you know what he really is. And so he hides and pretends to be something else. This is and you guys got to understand too. These guys are talking about, well, I loved before, and this didn't work out, blah 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 blah. I dumped a dude like that because he was telling me we was, just getting started talk as we talking, as what the people say. You just meet somebody, you trying to decide, feel them out and see what they all about. He's telling me stories about this woman he had been with for years and how all the stuff that he used to do for her. And then he finished by saying, but I'm not doing any of that for any woman anymore because, blah, 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 blah. Okay, once those words came out of his mouth, it was a wrap. I was done. So when I hung up, that was it. There's no need for us to have any other conversations because you're already putting me on notice that you're a fucking coward and you're never going to give any other woman the kind of love and affection and attention and adoration that you gave to her. So you telling me that means I would be sacrificing my heart for some bullshit ass relationship because that's all you gonna give me based on some bitch that you already broke up with 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm supposed to be okay with that? No, I'm not. You need to man the fuck up and get over it. So, men hang on to that ancient history stuff and it's just use that as an excuse. And unfortunately, so many of you women, let them do that to you. Some motherfucker telling you about some broad that, he talk about the broad too much. See, that makes it suspect too. He's talking about some woman, other woman, and, that means he's thinking about her. He's not thinking about you. And so you are trying to put all your emotions and stuff into a situation with a man who's just flatly to your face telling you, I can't be that man that you want me to be. I refuse to be it because it's too scary for me. It's too scary. I might get hurt. Okay, do you want a coward for a man? I don't. I can't. I can't. I need a fucking warrior. I need a G. I need a knight in shining armor. I need one of the, what's the little dudes in that movie, the 100? I need one of them kind of motherfuckers that's gonna go down fighting to the last breath. Okay, that's what I need. That kind of man I can admire and respect, and I will be right there in the trenches with him. We're gonna be back to back fighting motherfuckers off. But I got somebody where I'm gonna feel like I'm in the trenches fighting by myself, and you just sitting there with your legs crossed, cowering in fear. I have no use for you. Get the fuck out of my space. I can't do that. So you guys have to understand that love requires courage. Okay, loving somebody requires that you be vulnerable to that person, that you open your heart, you open your life, you open your mind, you open your spirit. If you have a man who refuses to do that, and that's the kind of love that you want, and you're willing to offer that, then you have a decision to make about whether you're going to accept less or not. I'm telling you, too many women do, and they end up miserable, just depressed and feeling alone, overeating. Their health gets bad because they're so stressed and lonely. I mean, that's not the kind of situation that I would advise that any woman get herself into. So, if a man tells you got some little cowardly dude and he tells you that his heart's not ready for love or commitment, you should listen to him. And what's interesting though is a lot of these dudes will have like best friends. Like they got that Rollo, that Rollo kind of friend, Chiron and shit, that they've been friends with since 12th grade, since they was 10 years old. This kind of stuff. Do you understand that a friendship like that, maintaining a friendship that close, and loving a woman requires the same kind of openness, the same kind of devotion, the same kind of got your back attitude. So if you got a man and he's got really good friends like that, but he tells you I can't love you, that's a motherfucker's talking some shit. He has the capability of it, but he just doesn't want to. So you need to understand what time it is. Okay. Now, if you got a man, I have some friends that got husbands that didn't have no friends at all. Okay. Well, that's gonna be a bit of a mystery. What his story is, but I wouldn't really necessarily want to be with a guy like that either because he's showing that he just doesn't have the capacity to feel anything. He's hiding everything from everybody. So marriage to him is not necessarily going to be that emotionally rewarding or fulfilling either. Um, a lot of times these guys will wait until you get pregnant. You've been talking about wanting a family. Oh, he's all full of it. Oh, yeah, yeah, just have a family. But, he ain't talking about getting married. Y'all need to pay attention to that. He wants the perks without the responsibilities and obligations. And you all talking about, well, we have a baby together. You shouldn't be doing that. If you're not his wife, you should not be having no babies by these men. These dudes are just playing you. They getting all the benefits that a wife would give her husband without any of the obligations or any of the accountability under the law or anything else. You should not be doing that. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. You might still end up being a single mom after divorce, but guess what? That's different than just being a baby mama after baby mama after baby mama. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your kids. And another way that they waste your time is you'll be dating them for years and years, right? You claim you in love, you're all this great couple and all this stuff. You want to get married. He's back and forth. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe next year. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not ready yet. Blah 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 blah. And you ask him, well, what do you need to get ready? He never gives you an answer. It's because he's scared. He's a fucking coward. He doesn't know how to do it, and he's afraid he's gonna fail and that you're gonna leave him, or he's afraid of being vulnerable to the love and all the responsibility that being a husband and a father is gonna entail. He's not man enough to be your husband. That's what he's trying to tell you. He's a bitch made little boy. It takes a man to step up and be a husband and be the right kind. Okay, not just one in name only. I mean, the dude that's there for his family, for his wife. He got their back. He's about the family as a unit. He'll sacrifice for his wife and kids. If you don't have a man like that, even if you married to him, then you got a bullshit ass, cowardly ass, fucked up husband. And I know your feelings gonna be hurt hearing it, but I can't help it. That's what it is. So, you got to understand. So, you got this man, right? He's married to you. He consented to marry to you. But he's still a coward when he's like that because he's only looking out for himself. He's not looking for what he can bring to the family, what he can provide for his children, what kind of man he's going to be for his sons, role model for his sons, what kind of man he's going to be for you that you can depend on and see as a pillar of strength. All that scares him. He just like terror. So rather than deal with it, these are the dudes that run. They flee. They abandon their sons. They abandon the mothers of their children. They abandon their families and wives. They run like the fucking cowards that they are. Rather than roll up their sleeves and say, okay, I know this is hard. I got to figure out some kind of way to make this work. Maybe go seek mentorship with some other, older dudes in the neighborhood that have the kind of life that I want to have, something like that. I saw a real interesting commercial the other day online. It showed this little Latino dude. His wife asked him for help with the dishes. Well, that's woman's work, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he acted all stupid and everything. She's just sitting there looking at him. They were newlyweds. So he gets up and goes to this, I'm going to watch a game at, just say Fred's house. So he goes over to Fred's house, and Fred is an older black man. And Fred's wife was like, "Oh, some snacks, for you guys, and I'm gonna wash the dishes and everything because I'm so tired. And after that, I'm gonna go to bed. You guys enjoy the game." And he says, "Oh, baby, don't worry about that. I'll get the dishes. It's my turn. Blah 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 blah." And the little Latino dude, the newlywed, he's like, you got the dishes. What are you talking about? That's woman's work. And the older guy corrected him and said, no, we're in a partnership. This, I support her, she supports me, and that's what it's all about. Blah. So he broke it down for the dude. So then the dude goes home and he washes the dishes with, his wife comes in and sees him, and she's all happy, and they wash the dishes together, and it was a happy ending. So to me, that was a perfect example of mentorship that a lot of young men need so they understand how to lead a family and how to be a husband and how to protect and support their wives and household. They don't have anybody teaching them. They just have knuckleheads that they're modeling after. Yeah, beat her ass. These bitches, these hoes. And that's what they're modeling after. And so they have no respect for women. So even if they do meet a woman that they love and they really do want to treat her well, they don't have a clue how to do it. So they revert to what they know, which is knuckleheadedness. And so the relationship ends up, you know, being all fucked up. So when he gives lip service to marriage, but he's not really invested emotionally, this is what you're gonna get. He gonna cheat on you. He gonna lie to you. He's gonna play silly mind games because he always want to keep the upper hand and stay in control, right? So he's gonna fill your head with bullshit because he wants to feel like, yeah, I got her. She can't leave me. She ain't going nowhere. Or he'll threaten you if you leave me. Blah 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 blah. You try to leave, blah 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 blah. Or he'll just go right out, and pummel you into submission. So all in all, I think you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about. You have to really look at the man that you're with. If your man is not a warrior, like I it's like I want a guy like who's like a Marine. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to be like, the jerky part, but I mean, I'm talking about a man who fights, who stands for something, who fights for something, who knows right from wrong, and he always chooses to do the thing that's right. Like, Navy SEALs or something. I mean, like tough guys who have like some inner fortitude, who are not going to just give up at the first sign of something failing. They're going to keep going until they become the winner. They come out on top until they succeed. Why don't we have more men like that? What happened to y'all? Why are you so weak? And you just fall down and just like give up. They turn into incels and MGTOWs and TFLs and all this stuff. It's like, do something with yourselves. Do something to change yourself. You have the power to do it. If you don't know how to do it by yourself, then get off of those forums of full of losers that are just giving up and weak, and go and find some men like on a family forum or something and say, I want to become like you. I want to have a husband. I want to be a husband. I want to be a father. I want to be an effective, mate with a wife. How did you do it? What do I need to change so that I can get what you have? That's the life I want to live. Okay, not MGTOW and incel groups, family forums where there's husbands and wives there together that can actually teach you something. Get your shit together. Get your minds right. Okay? If you want something in this life, there's a million ways to get it, but what you have to do is keep striving for it. You cannot give up. You can't fold up and just be sitting there looking stupid, ranting and raving and crying about, oh, they did me wrong. And it hurt my little feelings. My feelings. Oh, my feelings. There's nothing worse than a man crying about his feelings like a little bitch. We know you have them, but you got to be the strong one for your family and your kids. Your kids are going to fall to pieces if they see daddy crying all the time. That's not going to work. Okay, you cry in private. Like I said in one of my videos, you drive to an abandoned building, you go in there deep, you cover your license plate so nobody knows it's your car, go deep into the building where the hobos and the rats are, cry your eyes out, holler, scream, do whatever you want, go get your ass back in your car and go back home. G'd up. Okay? You don't fold like that in front of your woman and your kids. You cannot do that. They need you to be strong. If you're going to be having the title of leader and king of the house and leader, whatever that shit is y'all be talking about, you have to present a certain image to them. I'm not saying you can't feel fear. Like I said at the top of the show, everyone feels it. It's a normal thing to fear, to feel. Fear is a normal thing. But it's all how you handle it. And the winners feel it and then they keep going anyway because they're not going to let that stop them. The cowards feel fear and then they just sit down and they go on loser forums and cry for months and months on end. It's just ridiculous. And I was actually wondering, I was talking about this with a friend of mine yesterday, no, Friday. If one of the reasons why we seem to have such a proliferation of fuckboys and weak panty wearing males is because we don't have a draft anymore. There's no draft. There hasn't been a draft since the 70s. And so the toughness that got instilled in young men, learning discipline and having to, work their way through things and problem solve and move ahead in spite of the physical pain, they're not getting those kind of lessons anymore. So I'm wondering if this is just creating a nation of weak-minded, weak-willed young men. The most challenging thing that they do is play video games. And they try to go through school. They cheat to do that, as we saw in that, expose. You're getting in all these high level schools, you're cheating your way into that. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't really have an answer for, every issue, but I do wonder. That's the kind of stuff that used to make men strong mentally and physically. And, being in the draft and being a soldier, being expected to fight for something and to uphold something and to be about something. They don't really have those kind of principles anymore. So they're stumbling and falling and trying to find a way. And not only that, you don't even have their dads around to instill that stuff anymore. So when you put all that together, it's like these boys are in a situation where they need some mentorship. So they're gonna have to go and find it from the men who are about something. And dudes, if you are these one of these about something dudes, and a young man or a couple of young men approach you, please consent to be that dude for them. Okay, they need the help. Otherwise, they wouldn't be asking you. Don't turn your back on them, because that makes you a fucking coward too. It's like, well, I learned it. Why can't they? I've heard men say that. Oh, I did that. That's not the point. The point is, unless you want more generations of weak-willed, spineless, punk-ass men, young men, you are in a position to do something to turn that around for your sons, your daughters, your nephews, the neighbor's son whose daddy is, wherever, whatever. I mean, you are in a position to make a change in society, and you need to step up to the plate and do that. So, ladies, this is just something for you to think about. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. But, if you are looking to choose a partner or you're raising a son, these are some behaviors that you need to really take a look at and make sure that you do what you can to instill these kind of values in your boy. Don't coddle them. Don't let them give up. Make them keep going. Make them suffer sometimes so that they, understand what it is to be at the bottom and have pain or whatever, and then to rise up like a phoenix on their own 2 feet. That's what makes men that feel like they're about something. You stepping in as his mama, making shit soft and cuddly for him and keeping him from hitting the bottom. You creating a little pussy man. That's what you're doing. Step the fuck back. If he doesn't have all the answers, leave him alone. He'll fucking figure it out. Either that or he'll go to another man and they'll help him figure it out. But it's not your job to make life cushy and soft for a man, because he's gonna grow up and he's gonna be one of these bitch made motherfuckers that I'm talking about, and you would have done that to him. Stop it. And you daddies, get your shit together. Take care of your sons. Teach them about a manhood. And if your fucking ass don't know how to be a man yourself, then stop fucking until you figure it out. Don't be making babies and then leaving them, abandoning these boys like that. Just to make them grow up to be fuck boys and just ruin the whole world and the whole neighborhoods and everything else. You know, teach your kids to be accountable. Teach your kids responsibility. And, if you have to choose the men better that you choose to father your children, I think that's a lot of it. You know, that's a lot of it. So that is what I have to say about cowards and cowardly men. I hope that, you guys, I know this is a lot of information. It's stuff, it's been stored in my head for the longest. Finally, was able to get it out. And I think that, I firmly believe everything I said. I don't think anything here is bad for men to do. I think it's all positive. Every change that men made in this direction would be a positive one for their families and, their greater families, including like, aunts, the whole family, and their communities and their neighborhoods. And then with this change happening all across the country, that will spread to be even a larger influence. But it requires men to man the fuck up. Stop crying. Stop being little bitches. It's so unattractive, and it's just making our societies crumble. You want to say it's because of feminism. No, it's not because of feminism. It's because of you. See, this is the account. It's because you are more feminine than any woman has ever been in the history of life. Okay, so just take that with what you want to take it as. I will be back, everybody, on Tuesday. We have What the Fuck Tuesday, where we talk about, you go over the advice column. The letters will come into my advice column. If you have a question that you'd like to submit for consideration for What the Fuck Tuesday, go to the top of the YouTube channel and click that button that says Get Advice, or in the show description, you will find a link. Under every show description, that gives you a link directly to the advice submission form. So get it in by Tuesday morning, and it may appear in the column. Thank you for sitting in with me on this Sunday afternoon. I appreciate you giving me your time and attention. Thank you for moderating, Lady Boss. And I will see all of you on Tuesday. Deb Cooper signing out.